African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoy, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of November 11, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted defeat on the formations of the Mechanized Brigade, Assault Regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements Alekseevka, Pavlovka, and Sadky in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, defeat was inflicted on the units of the Motorized Infantry Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Synelnykove and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 140 servicemen, 4 vehicles, and a field artillery gun. An ammunition depot and 6 warehouses of material resources were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group improved their position along the front line. Defeat was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades, an assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Petropavlovka, Kurilovka, Bogoslavka, Novoplatonovka in the Kharkiv region, and Drobyshevo and Novoselovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. In the area of the settlement Kupyansk in the Kharkiv region, assault detachments of the 6th Army continue the destruction of the encircled enemy group. The eastern part of the city has been completely liberated. The enemy continues attempts to break through to the encircled units. During the day, an attack by units of the 1st National Guard Brigade in the south of the settlement Kupyansk in the Kharkiv region was repelled, aimed at relieving the encircled units. Units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. Defeat was inflicted on the formations of 2 mechanized brigades, an Airmobile Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard Brigade in the areas of the settlements Seversky, Zvanovka, Vasyokhovka, Ivanopoli, Platonovka, Kuzmanovka, Konstantinovka, Verolyubovka, Pleshchivka, and Klinovo in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 185 servicemen, a tank, 3 armored combat vehicles, 12 vehicles, and 3 field artillery guns. An ammunition depot and a warehouse of material resources were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group have improved their tactical position. Defeated personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized, Ranger, Assault, Airborne Assault Brigades, Assault Regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Marine Brigade, Territorial Defense Brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Belitskoy, Turetsskoy, Rosa Luxemburg, Suvarovo, and Rodinskoy of the Donetsk People's Republic, Ivanovka and Novopavlovka of the Dnipropetrovsk region. In the settlement of Krasnoarmeysk of the Donetsk People's Republic, assault groups of the 2nd Army are conducting active offensive operations in the northwestern and eastern quarters of the Central District, as well as on the territory of the railway station's wagon depot. 256 buildings were liberated in 24 hours. In addition, clearing of the settlement of Rog from Ukrainian militants continues, with 98 buildings liberated. 7 attacks were repelled. Units of the East Troop Group continued to advance deep into the enemy's defense and completed the liberation of the settlement Novospanovskoye in the Zaporizhzhia region. Damage inflicted on formations of 2 mechanized, assault brigades, and assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Danilovka, Orestopol, Nechivka of the Dnipropetrovsk region, Ribno, Sladko, and Novo of the Zaporizhzhia region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 205 servicemen, 4 vehicles, and 3 warehouses of material resources. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group have improved their tactical position. Defeated personnel and equipment of mechanized, mountain assault brigades, Coastal Defense Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements Stepnogorsk, Lukyanovskoy, Malaya Tokmachka, Novoandrievka of the Zaporizhzhia region, and Nikolskoy of the Kherson region. more than 50 servicemen, 5 vehicles, 4 electronic warfare stations, 2 ammunition depots, and 2 warehouses of material resources were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian armed forces troop groups inflicted damage on transport infrastructure objects used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine, UAV storage sites, temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 140 areas. Air defense means shot down 69 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 668 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 95,994 unmanned aerial vehicles, 635 surface-to-air missile systems, 25,960 tanks and other combat armored vehicles, 1,611 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 31,240 field artillery and mortars, 46,359 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.